Okay, so we're going to get started with talking about inserting charts into Excel and customizing some of the chart elements and layouts and colors and styles. So if you download the Data Visualization Exercises Excel workbook, you'll see a number of tabs here. For this section, we're going to be focusing on this first tab, Customizing Charts, but you'll see moving left to right, there are a number of chart-specific tabs with data sets already pre-populated. That's where we're going to be building out each of these different chart types: tree maps, sunbursts, waterfalls, radars, surface charts, and so on and so forth. As you continue to move to the right, you'll see these green tabs. This is where we're going to do our next level data viz exercises. So let's go all the way back to the left and focus on the Customizing Charts tab. So I've got a basic sample data set here. I've got data by month with mobile spend, desktop spend, total, clicks, transactions, etc. One tip that I like to use is whenever I'm doing anything with charts, graphs, dashboards, or data viz in general in Excel, I like to get rid of the grid lines, and that really makes it feel more like a canvas to me as opposed to a spreadsheet. So you can go into the View menu and just uncheck that grid lines box. Easy peasy, now I've got a nice clean white canvas to work with. Now in terms of actually inserting the charts into Excel, I assume most of you already know this, but we're going to work on our Insert menu, and this is kind of home base here, this chart section. So there are two options for inserting charts. The first, with any cell selected in the data range, I could just go in and say, drop in a clustered column. And when I do that, Excel searches the data on the sheet, and it says, okay, this looks like an x-axis, these look like column headers, this looks like the raw data that this user is looking to plot. So in this case, I don't want all of these metrics to be plotted, especially something like transaction rate alongside clicks and spend, which are just on completely different scales. So I'm going to delete that and take a different approach, which is to actually select the data that I want to highlight, and I can use the Control key. What I'll do is select columns A, D, and E through row 13, and then jump back into that Insert menu. Again, choose Clustered Column, and this time, as you can see, it's only plotting total spend and clicks, which makes a lot more sense. So once you have a chart inserted, you'll see this kind of top-level tab appear called Chart Tools, and within Chart Tools, you've got Design and Format. Think of the design options as architecture of your chart. So how is it built? What features do you want to show? Do you want data labels, axis titles, chart titles, legends, trend lines, etc.? Whereas format is more about look and feel. So do you want fill options or outline options or shape effects built in there? So for this lecture, let's focus on the design options, and we'll start all the way on the left with this Add Chart Element option. So this is really the most important option on this tab, because it allows you to insert or delete or modify any particular element of the chart. Now I'm going to go through this kind of quickly because I'll be using just about all of these chart elements in context later on in this course. So for now, I'll just give you the quick primer. Your axis options let you add or remove primary horizontal or vertical axes. You can add titles, which really is a best practice. You want to show the user exactly what they're looking at. You can add a chart title above or overlaid. You can add data labels with different orientations. Data table just puts the actual raw data beneath the chart. Error bars aren't particularly useful in this case, but when you have data with interesting standard deviations, you can use error bars to visualize those. Grid lines, you can customize vertical and horizontal as you see fit. Legend, another kind of best practice here. Again, show the user what they're looking at, don't make them guess. And then finally, you've got trend lines here that you can set for any particular series you choose. And there you go. So those are the chart elements. Quick layouts are basically just pre-packaged collections of elements. So these are ones that Excel has already built out that it thinks might be helpful for you. If we're being totally honest, I don't typically use these just because I have all the raw pieces. I'd rather customize the view myself, but it's fair game to kind of poke through here and see if there's one that serves your needs. Similar with change colors, these are just pre-packaged palettes that you can scroll through to change the look of your chart. And then chart styles here, similar idea to the layouts. These are just pre-packaged styles, which include chart elements and colors and fill effects and all that good stuff. So these are kind of your final products almost. Again, I don't tend to use these because I like to customize things myself, but they're there in case you want them. And then you have a few other options here. You can switch the row and column. So you can either look at spend and clicks by month or month by spend and clicks, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense in this case. Select data allows you to modify your data series or your axis labels. What I could do here is edit this total spend series and just change the name to spend, for instance. Again, I'll show you many more examples of this as we move on. And then the change chart type option I'll also be talking about in a bit. This is where you can kind of adjust and say, all right, instead of clustered columns, let's do an area or let's do a pie chart. So there you have it. Those are the basic chart elements, layouts, colors, and styles.